Okay, hey, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today I have a really cool review for you from the brand Isotope watches. A little bit about them. They were founded by Jose and Johanna Miranda back in 2016. They are based out of England, as you can see by the typeface at the bottom of the dial there, Great Britain. So really representing there. And essentially, they're an independent micro brand that combine original designs with traditional solutions and a boutique approach. In terms of the type of watch, I consider this a pilot's watch. Some key characteristics exactly what you're looking for a pilot's watch. Of course, that's really just all about that balance of legibility and functionality. This is their old Radium bronze in tobacco dial, which is actually a 100-piece limited edition. And essentially, the old Radium, in terms of the model itself, is an ode to the brave pilots that fought the odds in World War II, which were often not in their favor. Its design is a subtle mix of straightforward functionality and vintage elegance. Now, a little bit about bronze watches in general. Of course, bronze is a copper alloy that oxidizes when in contact with oxygen. The bronze forms a natural patina, which gives your watch a unique character by becoming darker over time. Now, this particular model has a special price because it's a special watch, being the limited edition version, which is roughly 1,000 USD. When I say roughly, that's because there is fluctuation between the exchange rate. Of course, like I said, they are based out of England. So with all that said, let's go ahead, zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. All right, guys, first thing I did want to mention is the packaging is really cool with this. Also, it's not just a special dial, you're also getting a really cool special strap, which I learned a bit of a trick on, so I'll show you guys that, maybe save you guys some time if you want to do this, as well as this box. Check out this box. I don't know if the standard one comes in this box, but I was super impressed by this thing. Check this out. Button, bam, how cool is that? And then you still get even that inlay with the Isotope logo. So it was really cool opening up this box, and yeah, I don't know, there's something, I just thought that was so cool. So we'll get that off camera here, and then we'll get to this. So this is actually a really cool kind of bonus. Oh, and also there's a tag in case you don't want to listen to what I tell you. So one, it comes with extra spring bars because these spring bars are quick release, and then you also get a bit of a, essentially, oh, whoa, getting my information. So you get your guarantee in there, but is there something? Oh, on this side, there we go. So it's this cool Didimo straps, Barcelona. So basically, this is all handcrafted and everything, yeah, in Italy. So this is really, really cool. I thought that was really fun. Oh no, I'm giving away my serial number. Don't worry about that. But this thing was really, really nice. And it's large. It's the extra, extra large size because I do have quite a large wrist. But it's essentially like a Marine National style strap, except that it is, of course, made out of leather. And man, does that look gorgeous. It looks like a well-worn bomber jacket. So essentially what you'll do is you'll loosen this up through this way, and then you get it. They actually do have a really helpful video on the site when you purchase these to get this thing perfectly sized. But what I did to shortcut the system was I figured out first what size. So I'm just going to jump straight to the Easter egg here. Hey, how does this fit? So I liked it on the third hole. So what I would do there, now that I know the third hole is the fitment and the length, I would just do this, put it on the third hole, and then voila, thanks to a quick release strap. Now I just needed to arrange the sizing to where it matches the length there. So you can see that's kind of a way to shortcut to get this thing dialed in terms of the length that you want without doing it on the wrist. So just a little cheat code for you, because that's what I like to do. Not cheat, but hey, I like to have a couple life hacks into the system there to help you guys out. And you could even do that on other straps if you want. Sorry. Now we'll get back to business here. Of course, the quick release strap. I'm messing it up because I'm reaching around a tripod to do this live for you guys. But let's get to the goodness here. Let me actually give it a quick wipe. My goodness. Speaking of the goodness, this is such a great looking watch. Oh my gosh. So, you guys, if you're a fan of the channel, you know I've pretty much never featured a bronze watch before. I don't think anyway. I definitely don't own any bronze watches. If one came on, it was probably just a review sample or something that came in. But this one is just wow. This one really won me over. One, the bronze itself, right, is still very new, so it's actually kind of almost like a rosy coppery tone, not you know, the yellow that you would associate with bronze. And also the dial, the color, I have to say the colorway on here is really amazing. It kind of reminds me, I wouldn't say it looks like an Alpinist, but it won me over in the same way that the Alpinist did. I'm not crazy about green dials, but there was something about that combination, those earthy tones, you know, the kind of hints and glints of gold on the green that really did something special. I get a lot of those same vibes here. So this thing is sized perfectly. I have quite a few Pilot's watches, and 40 millimeters diameter seems to be the sweet spot, right? You want them to be large enough to be quite legible and still fit within that pilot watch theme, but you don't want it to be oversized and to where, hey, you need to wear a bomber jacket, an aviator jacket, or some goggles for it to look within theme. Like, you still want that everyday versatility, and this being in a 40 millimeter size does that perfectly. So it's 40 millimeters in diameter, 11.1 millimeters thick, so it's quite thin, guys. And then the lug to lug is just 47.1 millimeters. This is full brushed CUSN8 bronze in terms of that case, and then the sapphire is nice and flat with an AR coating, so you can see the textures on those dial. You know, oh my gosh, the little steps, the details, you can see all that really, really well thanks to how well they executed that sapphire. Now, getting into the crown, it is a screw down crown, guys, cupcake style, as you can see, nice and grippy, and it is even signed, so that's very nice as well. Now, you are getting a display case back, which is titanium and nicely etched. And this movement, you can see, is really beautifully decorated. You're getting blued screws, you're getting perlage, you're getting Geneva striping, you're even getting that nice little isotope signature shape that you see here. Also plays back to here and also ties in to there, right? So very, very cool. And this movement is a Swiss automatic Landeron caliber 24, and this is probably my first time experiencing the Landeron caliber 24. 40-hour power reserve, you know, 28,800 vibrations per hour, or 4 hertz in terms of that sweep of the seconds hand, and then it's actually rated to plus or minus 12 seconds per day in terms of accuracy. So that's pretty good. I'm glad that they actually state that on there. Now, plus or minus 12 seconds is the worst that it can be, so that means chances are it's going to be a lot better, which is really, really great. Now, getting into this dial, it is just beautifully textured. Look at that. And it's deeply textured as well. So you're getting that. But then, of course, you know, there is definitely some printing that's done in terms of some of the indexing and whatnot. You're also getting this beautiful 3D sloped chapter ring, which I really like. And I like that offset in color that ties back into the center of the dial. Of course, no dates, no ghost crown position. To go with the no date, which is great. That brushed bronze on the sword hands. You're getting old Radium Swiss Superluminova. Water resistance to 100 meters or 10 atmospheres or 330 feet. Thanks to, of course, that screw down crown. And then 20 millimeter lugs, guys. Oh yeah, 20 mil. They got it right. 40 and 20. Let's go. This is what we need. This is the 2-piece Italian calf leather strap with a matching brushed bronze buckle that is nicely signed Isotope, as you can see. bronze. Very, very cool. And you can see it does taper down to 18 millimeters. So how cool is that? 20 down to 18. The graining on here is nice. It kind of has that buffalo leather aesthetic, and it obviously ties into kind of the tobacco leaf colorway that is being highlighted here. And then if you really want to play, you can throw something like this on there, and then you really tie in, again, those bright points here, play against that, and it definitely gives it a much richer look. And then of course it's more complex, but for me, I just think this two-piece, especially with such a handsome movement. Yeah, no, maybe I don't know much about Landeron. Of course, this looks like it's probably just, you know, more, I guess, a dressier, you know, kind of ETA clone, but, you know, it does the job. It has the goods, and I will say that I haven't had any issues with it thus far. So getting into that, so we have those two different strap options. Of course, this one does have the taper versus the more Marine National style strap doesn't have the taper, but it also does incorporate a lot of beautiful warm textures that can, you know, make this up spec'd and feel very much more kind of in theme, I believe, as you know, where this is just going to be a very versatile strap that'll kind of go with everything. So let's actually get this piece on the wrist and see how it wears. Okay guys, as you can see on my 7.5-inch wrist, this thing looks fantastic. Look how flat and low that is. It definitely gives you those great aviation themes without giving you too much of that aviation heft. Of course, if I put it real close to the camera, you're going to get a lot of lens distortion that's going to make this seem much larger. But what I'll do is I'll keep my hand nice and relaxed down here, and I'll just tighten up the shot a bit, so you guys can get a closer look and a bit of a truer aspect ratio as to how this is going to appear on wrist. Nicely centered. The color play is fantastic. Thanks to that deep grain there, it means there's going to be a nice range of dynamic play with the light. So you're getting those beautiful copper tones playing off of that tobacco green leaf tone. And I gotta say, it all plays really, really well. And check that out. Just beautiful, sharp finishing. And when I say sharp, I don't mean sharp to the touch, but just, you know, sharply executed, because it looks darn good. So, you know, there's not much to it. There's no bracelet or anything like that for me to show you, but you guys can see it does wear really nicely. And of course, the bronze is off of your skin, so it makes there a lot less of a chance that you're going to have some type of, you know, poor reaction to it, which is good and quite thoughtful on their part. So with that said, let's actually get this off the wrist, set up for some Lume shots, low light transition, and closing thoughts. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the lights here. As you can see, really, really nice Lume. And you can see even kind of next to the 9 across the center and to the 3 there, you're going to get those great, almost look like the sight reticles, you know, on vintage aircraft, which is very, very cool. The Lume is nice and strong, that old radium. But one thing I always like to work in, of course, is some low light transition, because you're not always going to be out in the middle of a field enjoying direct sunlight. A lot of times you can be coming in and out of buildings, walking underneath overhangs, maybe taking a break underneath the shade of a tree, or just hanging out in your favorite automobile. So it's nice to see what these colors, textures, and finishes render like in less than optimal lighting. So maybe even include some harsh lighting here that typically could expose any type of production defects. But as you can see, I feel like the more I look, the more I like. This thing is just gorgeous. Now I'm seeing a little speck of dust there. I'm gonna do this live on the camera. Boom, get rid of it, because this thing is just too pretty to let it kind of get any attention taken away by a little speck of dust there. But man, this thing is gorgeous, guys. The color play, I'd say in person, it definitely renders a bit more brown. I think the camera is probably bringing out a little bit more of the green tone on there, but I mean, hey, it's a good look, so I'm not going to argue with it. But you can see here, check that out, that graininess does have a great texture that is going to grab and reflect light. And thanks to that old Radium Lume, you're still going to get a good amount of contrast, so you can still stay quite legible versus, you know, being in danger of, like, let's say this was all in white. Now that might be in danger of washing out, but you can see here still quite legible. You might have to take an extra second, or just move your wrist so it's not in that perfect kind of reflective lighting. But you can see even in this like minimalist lighting here, it is really quite legible, quite handsome. And yeah, this one again, it just really won me over, guys. Closing thoughts on this: on the wrist, perfect size and proportion. It just lays beautifully flat. Model variants, it is also available in a standard non-limited olive green dial, oxblood red, or an ash gray dial. And those options are all around about $120 less. Again, there's some fluctuation within those exchange rates. So, you know, I wish I could say, hey, the fixed rate, but the fixed rate is probably in euro. In terms of comparable models, there are definitely a lot of options out there when it comes to a classic pilot's watch. That market is quite competitive and quite flooded, to be quite honest. You know, and you're getting various price points, you know, up and down. And there's a lot that do a great job. But this one, what I really like and what stands out to me is the excellent job they did of kind of mixing the old and new elements to create something that feels equally classic and contemporary, without a really single hint of homage. Like, this is really its own thing, and I mean, that's something that Isotope is really known for. But man, to experience it in the metal finally, I have to say I'm not let down at all. So guys, for me, the bottom line here is, while I'm not a huge bronze watch connoisseur by any means, so you can, you know, if you want to write off my feedback based off of that, that's fine. But this one just really won me over with its combination of high specs and thoughtful design. You know, of course, I'd still love to see this. Hey, Isotope watches, if you're watching this, I would love to see an old Radium titanium or stainless steel model one day, you know, maybe with a black and gray dial layout with red accents. I think that would be killer, and it would sell like hotcakes. You know, use some BGW9 Lume or C3 or X1 or whatever, you know, to kind of, instead of it having this more of the aged and warm tones, just a nice crisp modern. I think that would be a lot of fun. So, as I do love this watch though, so if that one never gets made, I'll be fine. But if you guys do make that, reach out, let me know, because I definitely will want to take a look at it. So thanks so much to Isotope Watches for sending this watch in for me to get a hands-on with. I really do appreciate it, and I was really happy to share it with you guys. But do let me know what you all think in the comments below. If you like the video, please do it like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.